now that we've handled the situation with the termites, thanks to Dave, we can now start putting the floorboards on. So George is going to show us how it's going to get done. So George, what do we do now?
Okay, Mr. Sink, the first thing we've got to do is mark where we're going to cut the floor. Once we mark where we're going to cut the floor, obviously we'll cut everything out. There are different techniques, everybody does it differently, and this is the way I'm going to do it. Now, Mr. Sink, what I do, I like to stagger my joints, and I'll explain to you why. First I'll mark this one where I'm going to cut, obviously. Then I'll mark the next one I'm going to cut.
It looks like you're randomly picking the spots to put the cuts.
Yep.
So why there?
So my floor joist, this is known as your floor joist, Mr.
Right.
Sink, is directly underneath where I'm going to be cutting.
Oh yes,
So
I remember you saying, this is where, because you can see the nails here.
the putty holes for the nails.
If you do it in the middle of the joists, what ends up happening is it sags.
I've got nowhere where I can actually nail and support my timber floor. So therefore I've got to have a solid surface, which is our floor joist.
There you go. Don't just put a joint anywhere. Make sure it's on a joist.
Absolutely, Mr. Sink. So I'll stagger. As I said, I've marked that one, so I'll be cutting that one there. I've already, as we've already cut our hole out previously, I'll go to this floor joist. Okay, now
right.
We know that this floor joist had the termite damage in it.
Okay, yes, here's the hole. Now, how are you going to replace that?
What I'll do is I'll put another floor joist trimmer in from what we call the bearer across to the solid surface of the existing floor joist.
Ah, so instead of removing it, you're just going to put another one on there,
Yep.
and that's going to support it and give it strength again.
If we're going to remove the floor joist, it means that we're going to go with our floor, cut all our floor out right back to the bearer, and that's just not needed. So we can actually support the floor by putting in a trimmer in there. We'll start by cutting the floor joist. The reason I use my multi-tool is because when I'm cutting, I can get right to the edge of my floorboard that I don't want to damage. My next step, Mr. Sink, is, now that I've established the boards that I'm going to be removing and I've cut the ends, I need to mark where I'm going to cut through with my power saw so as I can easily remove the floorboard that I need to take out without damaging the floorboards that are going to stay there.
Oh.
So you can either use a level or an off-cut bit of timber. It doesn't matter as long as it's reasonably straight. So this is the board that I'm taking out. So I'll come in roughly 10 mil from the end between the two floorboards. As you can see, it's roughly 10 to 20 mil. I'll just quickly mark. It doesn't have to be straight. Then I'll mark another one right to the end.
I still don't understand what you're saying.
Mr. Sink, you have your tongue of the board and you've got your groove in the board. And if you think two boards are stuck together like so, okay, you don't want to damage this board and you want to take that one out. Now, if we try and just cut down the centre and lift up, it's going to crack this board and damage it. So therefore, I put two lines through, which means I can take that off and I'm able to manoeuvre how I take my board out. And I'll just show you that.
Good thinking.